He turned back to Tim Janus.
Like what, on Gilligan's Island, someone gets hit on the head?
Exactly, just like Gilligan's Island.
Do you think that Tim Janus has a chance to rise to the very top of the rankings?
He's a great eater. I think he has a chance to be one of the best.
And there we have him. There's the whaler, actually, cooking grilled cheese for Tim.
I could call him the culinary whaler now.
Those are looking like fast grilled cheese. And there is Eater X himself, which is impossible, in the green room, getting ready.
All dedication, 100% dedication.
I see what you're saying about the makeup, though. It's a little...
edgy.
Edgy.
Yes.
I'm going to have to ask you to stop right there, and I'm going to throw it back to Rich.
Think of Crazy Legs.
Thank you. We're here in Studio E. I'm with the butter-eating champion of the world, Don Lerman, and, of course, the pickle-eating champion of the world, beautiful Brian Syken. Crazy Legs Conti, he's loved by the entire competitive eating community. It seems to me like a very tight community, a very supportive community.
Well, like I said, we're like a bunch of jockeys before a race. We all wish each other well, we all know each other. But when the contest starts, we show each other no mercy.
Brian, Crazy Legs, an unusual character out there, but the competitive eaters seem to embrace him nonetheless.
Yeah, Crazy Legs is like a real enigma. I call him the Robin Hood of competitive eating. He really doesn't care much about money. He likes taking from the rich and giving to the poor. Any contest money or any monetary gains is usually, distributed amongst the homeless or any other, caregiving societies.
You're just saying that because I've never heard him give his money to the homeless.
I've heard rumors have spread around the organization that he doesn't enjoy making money. He likes to give it.
Is the hot dog and bun the gold standard? And if he can eat 22, where does that place him in the world of eaters?
I think the hot dog and the bun is the gold standard. This is what everything is judged by. If he can eat 21 and a half hot dogs in 12 minutes, it elevates him to a level of success and respect among the eaters that he hasn't achieved before.
Excuse me, Don, if you do the deuce, you're able to distinguish yourself between a great eater and a mediocre eater.
Exactly. Exactly.
So if he breaks 20, which is the deuce in the parlance of the eaters, he has sort of got that, he sort of gets the respect of everybody?
Oh, absolutely, George. He's reached the upper echelons of competitive eating if he breaks 20.
Okay. Rich, he's got to break 20 to get respect from his peers, but I guess he's got to break 21 and a half to break his own personal best.
George SHEA will explore a little further. George?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm here with Don Lerman, the butter-eating champion of the world, and Brian Syken, the pickle-eating champion of the world. He's also an internet blogger, talks about competitive eating. Don, Charles Hardy, he's known as the Godfather. When I think of the Godfather, I think of sort of a fearsome individual, but people seem to love him.
He's a likable guy. He's a nice, good-natured guy. He's a wrecking machine when it comes to eating. A powerhouse. And you got to watch out for him. He could beat you right at the very end.
He likes the end of the contest.
He likes the end of the contest. He could gobble up a lot of food very fast at the end, and that's how he beats you.
But where does this nickname come from, the Godfather? It sounds like forgive me, a mobster. And yet he's the sweetest guy in the world. It seems ironic.
Well, people always come to him being a pioneer in the sport. They come to him for advice, like an elder statesman.
Have you ever gone to the Godfather for advice, or are you sort of more on par with him, sort of peers?
Well, George, I have to agree with Don. He's the Godfather is probably the greatest thing that ever came into competitive eating. He reminds me of the ex-boxer Joe Frazier, Smoker Joe Frazier. He comes out smoking all the time, keeps a level of composure in the competitive eating table that's far beyond anything I've ever seen.
Don, he's known for his composure, and I assume that that can be difficult if you're at an eating contest. You know, you're under stress. There's a lot of competition.
Well, I seen him during a contest. He sweats profusely, and he puts everything he's got into this. Every ounce of strength he puts into that contest.
And are you able to keep your composure like he does, or do you see other people around him, get frustrated, or?
All the time they get frustrated. They see he's moving like a machine. He's moving fast. He's putting away a lot of food, and it worries a lot of people.
Interesting thing in this event. Some events are quantity events where you start out with a certain amount of food and you see how quickly you can eat them. Some are timed events. You got 10 minutes or 12 minutes or 6 minutes. This is a quantity event. He's got the initial bowl that represents his record, and then he's got another bowl. The total is 5 pounds. Do you think he can break that in 6 minutes?
I think he's going to go through those string beans like Grant went through Richmond. He's going to break the record.
Brian.
I agree. Charles Hardy, right now, it's almost like he hasn't had a meal in a year. He's going to devour those beans like he's never eaten anything in his life. It's going to be something to see, a great feat to witness.
Well, Richard, you've got it from the experts. A lot of confidence over here in Hungry Charles Hardy. Richard, we're here in Studio E. I have Don Lerman, butter eating champion of the world, to help me talk about this. And I also have beautiful Brian, double B Seekin, pickle eating champion of the world and internet blogger on competitive eating. And we're talking about donuts, and we're talking about donut eating. Is this an easy food to eat?
It's not an easy food to eat. There's yeast in the donuts, and they rise and expand in your stomach after you eat them. So it's very, very difficult, very tough.
Donuts.
Very hard to eat. A lot of sugar, a lot of yeast. After a certain amount of donuts, you just can't take anymore.
We've heard about people, you can crush them, you can dunk them, or you can do both. Brian, you're at the table sometimes. If you were at the table here today, what would you do?
I would crush them. That's the best way to get them down.
In the sense of push that air out.
You got to push the air out. You got to make them as almost like they're not there.
And do you dunk them, or do you just eat with the water?
No, I have to dunk them. They have to be they have to physically, almost like they're disappearing in front of me. I don't even want to look at them.
But you got to be like a conveyor belt. Rip, dunk, eat. Rip, dunk, eat. Constant motion.
So this is really a matter of hand speed and you know, and just keeping that motion going because of the clock.
Right, and at the very end, get the debris.
Can Joe LaRue do this?
Joe LaRue can do it. He has the capacity. He has the intensity. He has the height. He has the stomach capacity. And he's all psyched. He's just ready, able, and willing to break that record.
And there's Joe LaRue in the green room, guys. Getting ready. He's tall.
Oh, Joe's tall. He's looking real good, man. He has all the credentials, and he's just a powerful.
He looks nervous with the hands.
He looks nervous with the hands, but he has a lot of confidence.
A lot of confidence. Even though he looks nervous, he's not nervous.
Inside, he's really not nervous at all.
Outside.
Outside, he might show some nerves, but inside, he's all steel.
Rock.
Right.
He's a professional. He's an old hand at this, and I think he's going to do good.
Okay. Rich, why don't you take it back from here? Joe LaRue seems to be getting ready.
Here's what Joe...
Thank you, Richard. We're here in Studio E. I have Don Lerman, the butter eating champion of the world, and of course, beautiful Brian. He's an internet blogger on competitive eating. He's also the pickle champ. Brian, Cookie Jarvis, a lot of people say he's a patriot. What are your thoughts on that?
Cookie Jarvis, absolutely a patriot. True red, white, and blue all the way. And he's an American from head to toe.
Don. I think Cookie Jarvis has a lot of insecurities. That's what I think the bravado is trying to cover. What do you think?
Well, I feel the winning of the contests covered a lot of his insecurities. The eating, the winning, the eating at the buffets covers a lot of his insecurities.
It does.
Yes, it does.
Jaw strength, jaw strength, jaw strength. It's all here. Does Cookie have the strength to do this?
Cookie has the strength. Now, this type of contest is not a capacity contest. It's strictly speed and technique will win your contest.
Brian, Cookie Jarvis hasn't trained in more than 6 months. Is that going to play a role here?
I don't really think so. Cookie Jarvis has the talent to, he can conquer anything. He's a great eater. He can eat corn, he can speed eat. He's a marathon eater. He has all his teeth, which makes a big...
Okay. What I'd like to do is, you show me, you're Joe LaRue.
All right.
Okay, show me how you're going to eat corn. You're Cookie Jarvis. Show me how you're going to eat corn. Go.
What I'm doing is a typewriter type method.
What's this?
I'm like spinning a dreidel.
You're spinning it awful fast.
That's basically how Cookie Jarvis would eat corn. Or he'd use the accordion method of go straight through, or he'd just keep turning it like this.
That quickly.
That quickly. He's fast.
Well, we got into some of the issues that make Cookie Jarvis tick. That's about all we got from here.
Right now, a lot...